Okay, super short video for Ultramarines today. Faced a little bit of criticism on Discord for people saying the prices that I posted were ludicrous. They're not. I literally only get good deals, and if I don't think the deal is good enough, I do not purchase. And sometimes those good deals come at a price, and it's not a price that I'm sure if I'm willing to pay anymore now that I have a full army. But, for example, 3 of these Inceptors came in pieces. Not sprue pieces, like completely destroyed because they were destroyed by some child. And I bought them, fixed them, put them together, and now you can't tell. Things like Calgar, who I haven't even touched yet because I'm still trying to clean him up. You know, it's probably hard to see, but he was covered in super glue all over the place. There's still sprue bits sticking off of him. The mold lines are pretty atrocious and much harder to take care of after it's been glued and assembled. The Victrix honor guard, some clear scarring on the cape, gaps in the cape, misaligned, just like this. I'm slowly starting to fill in. I have green stuff coming in to fill it in the rest of the way. Quite. I mean, on his knee here and on the cape, you can see that where the sprue was and how it was actually misaligned on this cape. I've kind of slowly leveled it out. Hopefully, this thing will focus and let you see. Here we go. Right, so quite a lot of repairs go into it for me. This Librarian, who is like tabletop ready, but he's not quite to my hobbying standards. If you look right under his arm where the cape is, there's some clear seams and breakages where it wasn't glued together quite right. I've done my best to hide the seam, but you can see it's a little chunky and choppy right about here. Again, that's where the guy who owned this and sold it to me for super cheap and just butchered it together with super glue. Yeah, there's been a lot of work going into them. The suppressors, when I got this set of suppressors secondhand, there was some like weird texture paint and then weird rock basing, like spackling paint here on the bottom. I had to remove all that, strip the suppressors down, respray them. Interestingly enough, when you get all these good deals for models that you want, a lot of them just like don't have primer, no mold lines are trimmed. They're almost new, aside from how well or poorly they're assembled. So just something interesting to know. That's where I get my deals from. I get almost all of them on Facebook. I'll run over to my computer and show you that now. I'll block the camera because I'm too lazy to cut and edit and paste stuff. So I will show you this really quick. Terrain made out of $10 foam mats, and it was $10 for 100 sheets. So I have like ruined building. I have some bricks. You can see one of these bricks fell off and it's showing the color of the foam underneath. Okay, we'll run over. Yeah, those whatever they were called, they're now finished and ready for the table. So my army example from the other time is actually now complete and table ready. Here we go. Right, so these are some deals I pulled off of Facebook just today. Now I'm kind of only looking at new in box, new on sprue items, because honestly reassembling some of that stuff was dreadful and it was miserable. I also, all of my Hellblasters I got from some guy who had them as Death Watch, and not only were they assembled poorly, like their guns didn't fit and things like that, but they all had different shoulder pauldrons I had to snap off. Some of them I couldn't, so I had to scrounge together some pauldrons. It's been a tough uphill battle. Maybe it wasn't worth the $20 I saved on them, or $25 I saved on them, but you know, savings are savings when you're hobbying on the cheap. But here we go. Intercessors, $45, so 5 more than I said, but I got most of my Intercessors off sprue, already assembled, all sorts of different varying rates, so 45 is not bad. Impulsor is probably $60 is probably an okay price. I don't know anything about Stormhawks, never looked at them. A Redemptor Dread new on sprue for $50 is a pretty great price, considering they're about $70 if you buy them at a game shop. Blah blah blah. Aggressors for $35. I mean, I hear they're not particularly great. Also, I'm pretty sure those are Centurions in the video, or in the pictures this guy took, but maybe he's got them down there and I just didn't see them. But $35 seems to be a good price. I assume that's a $50 kit, so, you know, a decent discount. Here's another post. They didn't actually have any pictures. They just had it laid out here, but Space Marines, new in box Primaris Dreadnought. Redemptor, I'm sure that's supposed to say, but $50. You know, not a bad price. I don't know what the heck that Dark Vengeance thing is. Mark 7, that's stuff I'm not interested in personally, but you know, if you're into that, 4 through 7, I might buy some of these because that's when I was first hearing about the game. But $35 for Primaris Aggressors, new in box, not a bad deal. $25 for Primaris Librarian, that's $10 off. You can't really complain. You know, prices are prices, or a discount is a discount rather. So things like this Chief Librarian Tigerius I bought for $20. I've done quite a lot of cleaning on him already. Let's get a lamp going. I'm working on 3D Catan for my brother-in-law. Right, I got him. I'm starting to work on these mold lines. You can see they're still pretty prominent. I've done some of the mold lines on the staff, just enough so they won't really appear on the camera, but they're still there. Some pre-heinous mold lining. This thing was pre-stressed. You can see the discoloration in the plastic. But there are still mold lines on this flag I have to take care of. See, I would have sub-assembled it. I would not have done all this at one time. There's some mold lines across here on the helmet, across here on the ram head. There were some bad ones here, and you can see the his right leg here, right there, is pretty gacked from the guy's attempt to take it off the sprue. Right, so like there are going to be some hobbying and modeling things that are pretty sad and unacceptable. I will say the best deal I got on anything was this Apothecary. You might notice in that other box I had the Apothecary I painted myself, but this guy did a pretty excellent job. He missed a mold line here. He did a pretty excellent job with the paint. I really am happy with this Librarian. I mean, this Apothecary. I'm going to paint this Pauldron red and put him in a different, put him in my friend's Blood Angels form. But, yeah, I mean, there are good deals out there. I just don't buy stuff unless I think it's a good deal or, you know, I'm particularly desperate for a model. And if it's not, you know, you can proxy a lot of things. You can kit bash a lot of things. Space Marines are very flexible because they all wear the same armor, basically. But that's how I get the prices that I do on the guys that I post, right? You can see, these guys aren't perfect. Like, here I can see where he cut it off the sprue. But, you know, I don't mind. No one will mind from a foot away, certainly. I'm not trying to win any painting competitions by any means. But, yeah, if you search and you wait patiently, the model deals are out there. A lot of people sell these, like, monopose models. They get a lot of hate. But, I mean, honestly, you like clip the posts, set things how you want them. As long as they don't look too terribly jank, you'll be fine. And there's nothing wrong with buying these. I usually find these at a much greater discount than completely built stuff. And then people have deals from box sets. So this is all Indomitus crap, right? You can see there are some Assault Intercessors. These are Intercessors I bought from someone else. You can tell because I never would have put this stippled pauldron on them because I like the nice smooth Space Marines. But all of these had mold lines. Took several hours to do, but you know, if we're trying to get into the hobby for cheap, it is what it is. All of these I bought. The guy actually did a really great job trimming the mold lines, but I bought them all assembled, push fit, not glued. I'm actually trading those away now for stuff for my brother's army. Like, you know, I'm continuing to find value out of guys that I don't even use. Some Terminators I picked up from the same Death Watch guy, right? The shoulder pauldrons are on the wrong side because they were Death Watch. Death Watch actually function a little differently. So until I fix those Terminators are basically worthless to me, but, you know, I'm working on it. Sometimes you get misses. I bought this set of 3 Dreadnoughts on Facebook. This one, the other 2 I stripped and repainted quite nicely, I think. This one, probably not particularly savable. He did a pretty good job of hiding a lot of the details with thick primer. But I'm sure there's a green Dreadnought, Dark Angels, or Salamanders wanter who would take that in its current state. You know, got extra things like Judiciary. Some people are like, hey, you know, it's like, I'll reduce the price of some stuff if you bundle together. It was like, well, I bought 3 Outriders and 10 Assault Intercessors from him. Like, yeah, I'll give you $5 for the Judiciary too. And he was like, yeah, sure, take it. You know, just simple cost saving measures like that. I think I've always mentioned that I got the Captains and stuff at a discount because I bought it in bulk. Yeah. I mean, I would rather spend $100 on used stuff and get like 40% more out of that 100 than getting less from, right? The more used stuff you buy from someone, generally the more willing they are to let more stuff go. So like you might be buying in a larger dollar quantity, but you'll be getting more overall. This is another Hellblaster that I got from that same guy. You can see also here I got an Intercessor who's got the little line mounting mechanism. Yeah, but he was cheap. He was cheap because he was monopose. He's actually not even glued. But yeah, that's it. That's where I get all my cheap things. I promise all the prices I put under the video are legit. That is what I paid for them, and I have to know that because otherwise my wife would be very upset if she didn't know exactly how much I spent on a third hobby. So that's it. Thanks.